Hey guys, welcome back to Cottonwood Hill Farms. We got a beautiful spring day today. I think today's May 7th or May 8th, something like that. It's just been gorgeous the last few days. Been in the 70s. Sun's pretty much been out every day. Not much wind, maybe a slight breeze, but it's been wonderful. Grass is growing, birds are chirping, everybody seems to be happy. So we're working on our sprayer. Now I don't think I've showed you guys this yet. I don't even know if I've talked about it yet, but the scoop on this sprayer, I got it for free from a friend of mine. I got, if I remember right, I got a fuel barrel from them, and the deal was you can take the fuel barrel, but you got to take one of the sprayers too, because they had a few sprayers sitting there in the lot. So anyway, I took this. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it yet, so it sat for several years. And then when I started looking into doing biologicals, micronutrients, and that kind of stuff, that's all liquid application. And so I thought, well, wait a minute, we got this sprayer. What would it cost to just transform the sprayer into a micronutrient or a liquid fertilizer setup? So back in, I think it was like 2020, it's been several years ago, that's what we did. Went ahead and ordered some stuff and kind of just redid this. The only thing that we didn't replace on it was the main tank, the 300-gallon tank. That's still the original tank, and it's in pretty decent shape, but I looked into actually maybe getting a new one of those eventually. So anyway, what we've got here, like I said, 300-gallon tank. It's a 30-foot boom. The nozzles are on 30-inch centers. That's just the way they were. I left it there because I didn't see a reason to change that at all. What we did was we added the control up here. So it's got 3 zones, and I've got the monitor in the tractor. And you guys, if you've been following along, you've seen the monitor when I'm filming in the tractor. It's up there by my bale monitor. But we got 3 zones here, so we can shut off. We've got the left boom, right boom, and then the center. So you can shut those off to help with overlap. And then the other thing we did, I made this foam marking system. What I did was I found a guy, I think it might have been on YouTube, I don't know, but I found a guy that he had something similar like this for a lawnmower, a little lawn sprayer, and I thought, well, if it worked for him, it would work on a larger scale. So what we did was I made this bracket here, and it just U-bolted it here to the frame of the sprayer. Bought this tank. This is just like a 15-gallon tank you'd see on an ATV sprayer, and then bought a put a bung hole in it, drilled a bung hole in it, and put that in it. And the way it works is you fill it with water, and then you put your solution in there. I think it's like for 20 gallons you need like 1.5 pints of the foam marking solution or something like that. Put that in there, and then up here, this is a DC air compressor, just a little DC air compressor from Harbor Freight. So what I did was I put this in an ammo box, and I insulated it, and maybe I'll open that up here later, but anyway, I insulated it, ran the hose down into the tank, and that just acts as a bubbler and bubbles this up. And then we've got our lines going down to a T that goes out to each side of the boom, and then on the end of the booms I just put a couple shower heads. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. The only thing that I would change so far, and I will here eventually, is put the braided hose on. I used the cheaper hose to start with, but I think it's going to work for now. I had never flushed this tank out, so last night I filled the tank up with water, and then I put about a half gallon of the 35% peroxide in it, just to kind of help clean it out, to get any chemical residual or whatever out of there. So what I'm going to do, I just finished up. I went through, and all these hose clamps, I replaced them all with smaller clamps because the original ones I had on were a little too big, and almost all the joints leaked the last time I used it. So I replaced those. So now the next thing I'm going to do is get the tractor hooked up to it, and I'm going to flush everything out, because some of these hoses just from sitting, these aren't bad up here, but when you get down closer to the boom in the back, some of the bugs got in there. And so I'm going to flush all this out and make sure I flush all this crud out of here. I blew all these hoses out when I was taking off and replacing the clamps, but I want to make sure I get the rest of it flushed out too. All right, so this is the next day. I got this all hooked up, got the pump hooked up. This wire here is for the compressor, for the foam marking system, and then this is for your solenoid valves here. Well, it took me a minute to kind of figure this thing out. It's been 5 years since I messed with it. I had to I kind of had a brain fart. I had to look the manual up. I couldn't find my manual, so I had to look it up and kind of figure out how it was. But I got it figured out. I just tested it, flushed everything out on it. All the switches, solenoids, everything seems to be working good. And I made sure after I flushed it, or when I flushed it, that all the lines were clear and all the nozzles were clear too. So the next thing I'm gonna do is put the tips on. I've had the tips off this whole time. They've been in a box in the shop. And then I'm gonna attempt to calibrate it. And I've watched a few videos on this, and I think I can do it. It should be, I mean, it's kind of similar to what I did with the seed drill. You just got to figure out what an acre is. In this case, it's how fast you can cover an acre, so you got to time the tractor. Then you turn the sprayer on, and then you have to catch the water coming out of the liquid coming out of one of the nozzles, or a couple of the nozzles, and then you have to time it with the same amount of time that it would take you to go however many feet it is to cover an acre. And then there's a formula. Same thing with the seed drill, however many nozzles there are on the width of the boom and how wide the nozzles are. Then there's a chart you look at, and yada yada. These tips that we're using, I don't even remember what they're called, but it's a T-jet tip. I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but it's got three holes in it. And so instead of just spraying and fanning out, there's different styles of tips you can get. Some of them they fan it out, other ones shoot it straight down. This has 3 little holes, and so it does more of a dribble. And it dribbles in three different sectors. I guess in the width of over, I think it's like 12 inches or 14 inches or something. It's got 3 dribbles that come out, I guess. Or anyway, I don't know what you call it, but these are specifically for liquid fertilizer. And these are a 2-part deal. So the tip goes, well, the strainer goes up in there, and then the tip goes on. Okay, I think I got this figured out. So I read through that website. I was making this too difficult. I had my boots off, my hat off. I was sitting down counting toes. Didn't need to do all that. This is based on 136 feet is the distance traveled. That is based on 1/128th of an acre. And since there's 128 ounces per gallon, then the amount of ounces coming out of one nozzle, or the average coming out of these nozzles for a single nozzle, is equal to the amount of gallons per acre. So I'm going to link that website because that probably confused some people. Anyway, I need to get, long story short, I'm trying to achieve 10 gallons per acre, so I need 10 ounces per nozzle average. So I got my handy dandy little measuring cup. I'm going to turn the tractor on, and we're going to time it, and I'm going to test maybe 7 or 8 nozzles, and we'll see what I come up with. All right, so I got this thing set. It's got inside, I'll show you the monitor, but it's got a pressure gauge. I had to turn my pressure down quite a bit to around 20 psi, and then I had to speed up a little bit. So I had to do my test run again over 136 feet. So this is a John Deere 4430. It's got the quad shift transmission. So I have to run in B2 at about 2,000 RPMs to achieve 10 gallons per acre at 20 psi. But I tested several nozzles, and they all came out right at 10 gallons per acre. So this is the monitor right here. This is the pressure switch. You can go up and down. And so, like I said, we're about 20 psi is where we're going to have to run this. This is actually a pretty nice monitor. It's got 3 zones for the center. You got your left boom, right boom, and then your center. You can shut that off so you don't have as much overlap when you're applicating. Well, filling this thing was kind of a disaster, but I know what not to do next time. So this, so these annuals are looking pretty good. You can see the, you got the brassicas and the oats and the rye. It's looking not too bad. see I got some stripes. I was off on this little hillside here. I'm not sure what happened up here, but it didn't plant in some spots there. Anyway, this is looking pretty good. Well, we're spraying liquid. That's half the battle. I had the drone. I was hoping to get that up, but this sprayer needs about 110% of my attention, so that didn't work out as planned. But this actually is working really good. There's a couple improvements I can see I need to make to this setup, but it's still getting the job done. And my monitor right here is pretty awesome. I like having my switches, being able to turn off different sections of the boom. That's really been nice. Well, we got her whipped. I'd definitely say by the look of what's left, our rate ended up being a little heavier than we wanted. I'm just guessing, but that was probably closer to 12 pounds or 12 gallons an acre or something like that. But we also had a little more overlap than I was expecting. This marker system worked out okay. I think one thing I need to change is the tubing needs to be bigger for the marker system, so you can get more foam to the end, and so it'll flow faster. And then I think my ends, my heads on the ends need to be bigger too, so it drops a bigger glob. If I would have done this about a month ago like I was supposed to, if things would have worked out, it probably would have been a lot easier to see. But with the grass getting a little taller, it was hard to see the foam because it was smaller globs of foam. But that you could fix that with bigger tubing and bigger heads on the end of it. But like I said, this thing got the job done, so I'm actually pretty happy with it. The other issue with the foam marking system here, you can see this tank, I need a gasket on this lid because it's and I think that'll help push the foam down the system also, because without this having a gasket, you're relieving pressure here, so there's not as much pressure to push it down to the system. Well, I got busy last night. I didn't get that last little bit applied to the pastures, but that's okay. we got a couple other things we got to get on here, but we are going to get back to fertilizing here probably by the end of the week or so. We're going to wrap it up on that one, guys, but stay tuned because we got a whole lot more stuff coming up. Thanks for coming along, guys. We appreciate it. Like always, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook at Cottonwood Hill Farms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of the videos coming out. Be sure to check out all of our other videos as well too. You guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.